SelfMadeLyfe shit.
Let's get to it, man.
I'm on a mission, nigga, I'm on a mission. I put the work in, nigga, ain't no wishing. I feel like Santa, how I'm fucking gifted. But I'm fucking lifting. I'm talented, nigga, I'm gifted. Look at you, that's the fucking difference. Look at me, you see how I'm working. She in the back, and you know she's working. She shaking ass, and that's for certain. She bring the money back to daddy, though. I'm in the Benzos in the caddy, though. I done came up a long way. I done counted up a lot of cake. Little nigga, you a die today. To Miami, I might fly today. To LA, I might fly today. To Vegas, I might fly away. I get high, then I fly away. I get paid, I got a lot to say. Self-made life, that's the only way, nigga. Real shit, man. We just getting started, nigga. All gas, no break, 2020, man. Self-made life shit, man.
Alright, man, what's good? What's good? Welcome back to the channel, man. We back. SelfMadeLyfe TV, SelfMadeLyfe.com. Go get some merch, man. And today we got a DFS video, man, for you. We got some Wnba DraftKings. 2-game slate. Small slate. So we're gonna get into it, man. Let's go check out these odds real quick. So the first game we got at 8 is Connecticut at Dallas. Over under 151. Dallas opened up as a 8-point underdog at home. As you see live, money has came in on the under. It's went down to 148.5, and then more money has went on the favorite Connecticut, as we've seen the live margin went to 8.5. So that's the 8 o'clock game. That's the first game. Then we got the second game, Washington Mystics at Seattle Storm. Opened up at 162. Seattle was an 11-point favorite. As we see, money has came in on the over as it went up 2 points to 164.5, and we see money has came in on the Mystics. As we see it went down from Seattle winning by 11 to now Seattle is only favored by 9. So that's what we got there. Looking at the totals, one thing is you never want to roster players, a lot of players in that lower game. So I definitely will be having more players roster in the late game. Plus, a lot of people impatient, so you can kind of get that ownership playing more the late game than the early game, especially if the late game has a better total, higher total, more points. But so let's get to this lineup building. First things first, we're gonna check our injuries. As you see, got a couple injuries, not too many. Haynes Allen from Washington, I believe she's the power forward. Okay, she's out due to some type of injury. But the Washington Mystics has been an injury-ridden team all season. We're just going to slide over here real quick. Deladon, right now she's out. I don't think she plays. She missed the last game, so I doubt she plays. Of course, always check up on your injuries close to game time, but I'm just giving you my predictions. I think for sure we know Haynes Allen might be out. Of course, we want to check on that, but so let's go see where can we find some value at. Now with Deladon, to me that's basically opening up for Charles. You can roster Charles if you want to. I'm not too big on it right now. Usually I like that she's going to get a large percent of that offensive usage, but as you just read, she was limited to 25 minutes in her first game back from a hip injury. So as you see, the fall off from production just kind of shows that she's probably not 100%. So right now, I wouldn't roster Charles. If you know something I don't know, then go ahead. But that's how I'm playing that situation. Even though Deladine is out, it would be a good spot to roster her when we know she's going to get all the uses. But right now, I just don't think she's healthy enough. So Washington has a problem down low against Seattle tonight because not only is Haynes Allen out, Deladine is out. So let's go. Let's click on Washington. And I want to see who they started in place of Haynes Allen. Let's see if we can find some value. Okay, so it looks like they started Erica McCall, I believe. She played 18 minutes. Let's check her out on here. Okay. So here's your first value of the night. She's started the last game for Haynes Allen. I believe she started the last 2 games, plus Deladon is out, so that should open up more minutes for her. But right now she's on a 20-minute minutes limit because she's also coming off an injury. But this is value, if you need it with Haynes Allen and Deladon being out. Production is not where we would like it, but like I said, with the 20-minute limit, we see improvement from the first to the second game. So if you're looking for some value to fit in a couple stars in your lineup, I would definitely take a look at Erica McCall. And I want to just start with the injuries first because to me, value is one of the biggest ways to win, man. If you can't find no value, then it's going to be hard to make your lineup because your lineup going to be like everybody else's. But moving along, man, we see some injuries over here in Dallas. Now, Dallas is an 8-point underdog. They got a tough matchup defensively. As you see, Connecticut is basically probably the best defensive team in the league. We know they got January and Thomas locking up at the guard position. Then when you look, you got Bonner, Jonquil Jones, and Brianna Jones down low. Man, that's vicious defensively. So I'm not going to lie. I'm probably going to be fading Dallas this game just because I don't like that matchup defensively. Even though they're at home, they could put up a fight because I know end of the season coming up. So they could kind of play a little harder, but let's check out this value. So we see Harrison is out, tested positive for COVID, and then Salaby basically been out, or Sabailey, however you pronounce her name. She's been out for the last 7 games. But when you're breaking this down, this is basically their starting power forward, and this is basically their 6-man second string power forward. So we're going to go check out Dallas. And we're just going to see who's filling in those minutes because that's basically how you find the value. You look at the injury, then you want to see who's getting that minutes increase that they usually wouldn't get due to the injury. Okay. So for Dallas right now, looks like we got Kayla Thornton who's playing the forward position. I'm not a big fan of Kayla. She's hit or miss to me. I like her, but she's inconsistent. At home, she's averaging 20. She is playing better at home, but we see in 2 games against Connecticut this year, man, only 7 points in 22 minutes. So, like I said, most of Dallas is a fave for me. She has played good in her last 2 games. Matchup-wise, you see it was against Atlanta, so that kind of explains it. Atlanta is a struggling team this year, but if you want to kind of get a little value at that power forward spot due to the Dallas injuries, she's definitely the option. She could have a good game, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying she's a bad player, but to me, just with this matchup against Connecticut, this is the type of game I would fade her. Furthermore, looking, so that was for the Sabailey injury. Now, Harrison is more of a 6-man, so Harrison, is the first person off the bench, which obviously it looked like she opened up some bench minutes here. Harris and Mayberry are listed as guards, so we're not going to really focus on that. Harris, you can definitely look at Harris with the injury to Harrison. Looks like she's taking over that 6-man role. But right here that's why game log is important, man. Minutes, no minutes, minutes, no minutes, minutes. So with that trend, it looks like the next game, and you see, look, that's why I tell y'all minutes is important. Look, minutes, production, and not much production, but compared for the minutes, 9 points in 13 minutes is good. Look, 7 minutes, 1.5. So minutes is king when it comes to this DFS, man. Minutes definitely correlates to more fantasy points. But yeah, she's definitely like she's taking over that role, but I'm just a little nervous with the inconsistency of her minutes. You know, she could go back down to under 15 next game. So, but she's definitely a value. The one I wanted to focus on was Collier. You know, as you see right here, shout out DraftKings. It lets you know while she's sidelined, which could be up to 2 weeks, more time would be available for Collier and other 4 current players because the 4 minutes on the bench opened up. But looking at Collier, she's also 4,900, good value. We see last game, she got 17 minutes. And in that 17 minutes, she basically gave you a fantasy point per minute. Good performance, solid performance, 10.7 rebounds. And one thing I want to point out is that Harrison last game was the second against Atlanta. And we see the very next game, we seen Collier with the minutes increase. So I'm not going to lie. If I would play anybody from this team today, it's probably going to be her. I don't see Dallas really. I see them being competitive, maybe semi-competitive, but I'm more interested in their bench and their starters in this game. So if there's anybody from Dallas, due to the injuries to both of their power forwards, Collier is definitely a person I would consider. Let's finish going through these injuries, man. Canada, yes, of course. The young guard from the Storm, Canada, has been out now. So just breaking down how the minutes went. Now I kind of got burnt. I played Sue Bird their last game against New York. This is the first game Canada missed, and you know, she kind of put up a dud. So let me see. I haven't. Let me look up Julie Lloyd. Man. Julie Lloyd might be the play with Canada out. Man. Julie Lloyd might be that play. She's sitting at 9,500. That's not too expensive. 2 games against Washington, she gave you 32. Wow. She struggled on the road against Washington, only giving you 19 points. But this is a home game. She does perform better. Yeah, Julie is definitely somebody I consider. A little inconsistent, but with that Canada injury, I would say Julie and Sue should be up for more usage. I like Julie better than Sue, but Sue is value. She's 7,800, so Sue is a better value. Another player I want to point out, as we see here, Samuelson. She came in and got 31 minutes. Now she was starting, but she's also she hit the bench. But with the Canada injury, we see she's went from 12 minutes to 32 minutes, so she's been inserting back into the lineup. Also a good value, 6,200. In her 2 games versus Washington, she struggled, but with her getting that minute increase, that definitely should help. We see her last game against Washington in 24 minutes, she gave you 21 points. So if you want to find some value on Seattle, Samuelson, her or Bird, to me, is the way to go. We definitely can check out this bench from Seattle. We see Talbot. Prince got 12 minutes. Really, Talbot. Stephanie Talbot. She's definitely one I would consider just being that first person off the bench. Going up, you see her last game against Washington. Wow, she had 28 points. She was able to snag up 8 rebounds. So, she plays well against them. It's a home game, 5,300. I kind of do believe you can find better value, but yeah, that's basically just all the usage that opened up related to that Canada injury. So we got that, man. Basically got all our injuries value out the way. One more value play I want to show y'all is a player from Connecticut, Kayla Charles. We check out her game logs. We see the last 2 minutes. He's basically leading the bench in minutes. Go look at this last game. Now, this is a game that can blow out. I definitely believe that Connecticut can cover this game and win by more than 8, but they are on the road, so home teams always play a little tougher. But when we look, right here, Charles is getting 20 minutes. Nobody else is even getting 15. So at 4,100, we're getting a guard that's led the bench in 20. She's getting 21 minutes the last 2 games, led the bench in minutes. In 2 games versus Dallas, in 24 minutes, she's averaging 25 fantasy points. So she's showing you that she has good games against this team before. We see the last game against Dallas, she played 16 minutes and gave 12 points. So I'm not gonna lie, this might be my value of the night at 4,100. I think it's probably the cheapest value I done showed, and situation-wise too, because not only you want to find value with low salary, but situation. I think coming off the bench on the road versus Dallas is a great position for her to be able to, a banged up Dallas team at that. She should be able to come in, get some minutes, and have some impact. So, all right, enough with value, y'all. Let's talk about some big plays. Now, strategy. 2-game slate is always about strategy. Take a sip of the drink real quick. Slight intermission, but yeah. So, I think the biggest thing about 2-game slate always come down to strategy. Man, oh, little lighter. A lot of issues. Shout out all my smokers, man. Niggas know. You can have 5 lighters empty. Going through it, but all right, boom. We got the blunt lit. Let's get back into it, man. But yeah. So strategy. As we see, the strategy I would recommend for tonight is stacking the 2 big dogs, man. I think they're in beautiful spots to have good games. I like correlation a lot. We see Jones' last game was versus Washington, who plays, that's Brianna Stewart, opponent tonight. She went off for 61 fantasy points, man. Gave them a 30 burger and 15. And I think the reason that is, as we've seen with the injuries, man, they're just struggling down low. Tina Charles banged up, Deladon is out probably, and Haynes Allen is out, man. That's their 3 biggest players. So I probably can get a damn 20 and 20 right now on Washington. So with that being said, I think you got to lock in Stewart tonight. Got to lock in Stewart, man. That matchup versus Washington is just too good to me to miss it with them being that banged up. We see she's giving you 40 points regardless, home and away. And this game should be a little more competitive than the first game. It has a higher total, and Seattle tends to play higher pace, higher scoring games. So I definitely would lock in Stewart. As for Connecticut, I think, like I said, you stack both of them, man. We got Jones going up against Dallas. Dallas is another team banged up at the power forward position, which Brianna Jones plays center. So Jones, she gonna be attacking that bad power forward position that Dallas got right now due to injuries. And I think you could definitely fire up both of our stars. And as you see, Brianna Jones has a tough matchup tonight, so that should even lean more usage to Jones, seeing that Brianna, I like her too. She could potentially have a good game, but I just see her maybe, she's coming off 2 great games, and it's ups and downs. And with that tough matchup, I can see her. We scroll down some. You see her last game at Dallas, she only gave you 30 points, but her salary is now probably $700 more, $600 more. So Jones is definitely an option, but if I had to pick between them two, I like stacking Jonquel Jones with Breanna Stewart. Another play I like tonight, I'm not going to give y'all too much, but hey, if it helps somebody win some money, then that's what I'm here for, man. I like Natasha Cloud, man. We see one game against Seattle, she gave you 31. But what really got me intrigued about that is if you look at Seattle's last game against New York, man, New York got a little foreign point guard. And she had a good game. Seattle, of course, won the game. But as you see right now, Seattle's struggling at regarding that guard position. The point guard had 20 points with 7 assists. Then Rebecca Allen, who came off the bench, had 17 points. So we see they're struggling right now with Sue Bird and Julie Lloyd for as defense. So you give me a Natasha Cloud, who right now usage is the last 3 games, 12, 10, 15. She's more of a point guard, but when she starts shooting more, she's definitely a weapon. We see increased usage, increased fantasy points the last 3 games, 34, 28, 32. So I just feel like with the way Washington's banged up, like I said, Charles has playing through a hip injury. Haynes out. She's a big contributor. We got Deladon out. So it's really, in that starting lineup, man, you're really looking at Atkins and Cloud for as, Walker Campbell also is an option that I didn't speak about. But her minutes is kind of up and down. I like her, but you see she got 30 minutes last game, but we just never know how many minutes she's going to get. So that's the only thing that makes me hesitant about her. She's definitely another value option, but like I said, the play I really like is I like Cloud, man, at that point guard position, attacking. Sue Bird, she can definitely have a good game tonight on Washington side. And last but not least, one more player I wanted to talk about was Russell from Seattle. Now, like I said, we see Connecticut last game was against Washington, which has that depleted defensive paint right now. And both of the Joneses went off against them with Connecticut, man. The center had 43 fantasy points against Washington. And Jonquel at the power forward spot has 61. So to me, this is a great spot to actually stack down low. You can definitely stack Stewart and Russell. I'm going to have a couple lineups with that stack. We see Russell has struggled, been a little inconsistent. But, playing with Breanna Stewart, you're not going to have the most consistent stat line every night when you're playing with a star like that. But on the bright side, we see it. The last time she played Washington, 24 minutes, 14 points, 8 rebounds, 30 fantasy points. So this is common sense, man. To me right now, Washington, you attack them down low. And we see in 2 games against Washington, she's giving you 25 fantasy points. So definitely take a look at Russell. But yeah, man, not a lot to really talk about. It's a 2-game slate. So it kind of is what it is with that. You also got on Connecticut. You got Bonner. You never could underestimate Wnba Bonner. I just don't like her salary right now. At 10-5, she's basically going to have to give me, 35 to 40 points to really hit that value. And she's just playing with 2 usage monsters in the Jones combo. So unless she has a gravy matchup or it just depends on the situation, but you can't pay up for everybody. You're going to have to pick one. You're going to have to pick 1 or maybe 2 if you do. So, but like I said, Bonner, of course, Jasmine Thomas. January, she's more of a defensive player to me, so she's also matchup based. You got to have a great matchup for me to really consider her. That's about it on the Connecticut side, man. But, yeah, man, I think I kind of went over everything I wanted to go over. Of course, I can't give y'all the full lineup. DraftKings doesn't allow you to give out full lineups. They like ban your account, so I can't do that. But yeah, hopefully I helped y'all out. If you got any information or if you got any picks or anything you see, definitely comment. Let me know. But yeah, then it's your boy, man. SelfMadeLyfe Ken, SelfMadeLyfe TV. Go follow the IG, man, and I'm out, man.